It is time for a party with Miss Polly.
It's time to party with Miss Polly.
The modern day doctor.
Miss Polly, we love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Again, we have a surprise because you are free to just ask whatever question you want. No one here knows what you're going to talk about. So this is actually a really nice little twist on the party with Miss Polly.
Twist.
Tell us, give it to us what you got.
So, what is the most, actually, I don't want to call it the most, but one of the most important things when having sex that makes you feel comfortable?
Dude, I'm comfortable in all sex. Like, there's not any part of sex there's not an aspect of sex that I don't like. I'm
kind of talking more towards the female questions on this.
Well, maybe Bernie can say, what do you do to make a girl feel comfortable?
So I can answer that one.
What makes penetration more comfortable?
Well, a wet vagina, first off. But no.
And how do you get that?
By giving the girl oral sex. Just saying.
Or lube.
No.
Thank you.
No, you shouldn't. No,
Miss Polly is a lube.
I know that she is, but I think that if a guy will go down on a girl because her vagina is clean and not smelling, there'll be enough spit and all that stuff, and she'll be turned on if they're doing it. Yes, I disagree. My experience, I got to disagree.
Okay, here's my thing.
You don't have a vagina.
Lube is
I
your
have
friend.
my mouth, and I've had a lot of sex. I have experience.
I have too, dude.
I know, you
I'm
slut.
just
You other
saying,
slut. I'm just
lube
kidding.
is your friend. And the reason that lube is your friend is because a woman's arousal will wax and wane.
Well, what? And what?
But the lubricant will stay the same.
Look at you. You've been working on this stuff.
Wow.
You went from the P, C, the B, the D, all that, and now you're like, I mean, this is good. This is like,
Great. Repeat that one.
you're like a
One more
poet.
time.
You're a sexual poet.
Sexual poet.
That's it.
And you didn't even know it. I'm just kidding. A woman's
God.
arousal will wax and wane, but the lube will stay the same.
Wow. Fair
Wow. I
You
feel
should
like
just have it on hand. Like, do you ever
I do.
use
No,
it?
I have.
No, I just
lube
made
on
that
hand.
up. Seriously,
It was
as
good.
we're talking.
It
I
was
just
very
literally
good.
made
That was
up.
amazing.
that is actually.
I always have lube available in my place, but you typically.
Well, the reason
Go ahead.
that I think it's important, and here's the reason why, is because, like I said, a woman's arousal can go from here to here to there to here, depending on what's going on. It's not going to always be the same. I mean, most guys even, they lose it just a little bit here and there. It's not going to be all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So, being said, is that no matter what you're doing, there's different lubes for different things, but lubricant can make it more comfortable and make it last a little bit longer so that when she is aroused, yes, it's going to be great. And even when her arousal goes down a little bit, you're still going to have the lube there to make things more comfortable.
So my experience with this, and I will give you the credit for that. Like, I just haven't had that bad of experiences. I keep lube. Oh, at least it's my place. But usually if it's a part
You
where
don't sound like you use it.
I never use it. The only time I use lube is if I'm the only time I use lube. This is my personal experience. The only time I use lube if I'm going to put my dick in someone's ass, like if we're going to have anal sex. That's it. And so my sexual experiences have always been good, but I've never had to use lubricant for a vagina. I just don't. I can, whether you agree with this part or not, I think it takes away from, this is my 2 cents experience. I think it takes away from the moment to be like, hey, hang on a second, let me get some lube because you're dry. But I think it's
Is that
easier.
really going to ruin your moment?
Let me just tell you, look,
Okay,
y'all
go ahead.
have sex however y'all want to. And I'm telling you what has been significantly, perfectly worked 100% of the time for me. And so if we've gotten to the part of where I'm going to put my penis in someone and they're dry, it is just as easy for me to spit on my hand or lick my fingers and put it in. She can do whatever she wants. I'm telling you, my experience with it is that it works, but it works just as fine. It can't be bad because it's just spit. And but it gives me, but it doesn't dry up. I've never experienced after getting it wet that it dries up ever have I've been fortunate, I'm knocking on wood, because now I'll have some bad sexual experience.
No.
But I've never had that experience ever where it dried up after we're in it, where it's slid in. And I've never had it to where it dries up.
What about when you're with someone for a long time?
Well, what's a long time?
Like a year or so or more in your marriage?
Still, so for me, what I said earlier is true. Like, I like oral sex. So there's never been a time where I'm like, fuck this girl. I don't want to, I'm doing it more for me. Like, I enjoy it. Unless it's a stinky vagina.
Right.
And so for me, that's part of like I love sex that much. It's all integrated with it. So
I just wonder, sometimes there's the newness excitement.
Yeah.
And then there's when you're with someone for a long time. I mean, is lube really going to, I mean, you've been with someone for like 2+ years. You're like, oh, who cares?
2
like,
seconds to
yeah, that's not going to ruin like the moment.
No, and I will say this: there have been times where a girl will get lube, like she knows she's dry, she'll do it proactively. I'm not going to be like, hey, let me get some lube. For me, if they're on top of me or on top of them, it's as simple as me licking my fingers or me spinning my hand and putting it in enough just
this
to.
This is Miss Polly's favorite. I know it. I see her face. She is dying right now.
But it's just, I love you, by the way. But I think it's not something that
she loves you too, but just she doesn't love this part.
But don't you miss Paul? She says like you can get like tears and stuff.
That's if you shove your cock in without any lube. If you just shove it into where it's dry, you can absolutely get tears on both sides.
The thing is that you may not know, just because you like spit on it.
Yeah.
Which, who doesn't like to get spit on, ladies?
I've seen some ladies who like to get spit on, but that's just some experience I've had.
That's a different play scenario, okay?
Just
we're not doing a scene here where you're going to spit
in the gravy. But it's not this gross, like,
I don't want somebody spitting your nasty on my hoo-hoo.
But let me tell you something. If it's the point where the mouth is around the hoo-hoo.
She's going to talk about why.
Just because you are, spitting on it and then putting it in and saying, yeah, it's all fine. Okay, spit will dry up because it's water. That's what it is.
I just
It is not a lubricant designed to, yes, because if you shove it in and what happens when your dick gets to a certain part and it's not wet, and it's not spit on, and you actually can, yes, cause micro tears and micro fissures, and that actually gets bacteria in it, and it ruins her pH, and now she's got a yeast infection, and she's pissed off as hell and not knowing what the hell happened.
believe that's all true, for sure. I 100% agree.
And just because you say it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen to other people.
Well, look, that's part of communicating. You better talk to me and let me know something before.
Oh, I could say something right now.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You wouldn't know.
Well, here's the thing.
They may not even tell you.
Well, then whose fault is that?
Because you don't meet them again.
No.
Exactly.
Okay, hang on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, I get it that you're giving me a perspective from a professional and whatnot, but I'm also giving you a very unbiased. This is just my experience in sex. Sex is so enjoyable. I can't think of anyone that I've had sex with where I'm looking at them thinking they're fucking hating this. It's you're going off the whole vibe and whatnot, right? So, if the time that they're dry and if they don't get lubrication or I spit on them, whatever like that, they're not thinking, oh, your nasty mouth. I've made out with them. They've sucked on my dick. They're like, all these things have happened to where we're the part of like inserting my cock inside of them. So my experience has been that I've had no issues with it. I'm not gonna, like, I've been in there where I've spit on it or whatnot and it still is dry down there, so it doesn't feel as good. That's not something I'm going to shove in and keep going for. I want to make sure that it feels good. So that means if I got to spit more or someone gets jelly or KY jelly or whatever it is.
But see, there are times when you may need lubricant. I'm not going to say every single time you're going to need lubricant, because there have been times, of course, I may not need lubricant. Yeah, great. However, what I'm saying is lube is your friend, and you should use it for more than just because there's different circumstances of why you may be having sex, or what if you're trying to get pregnant and sometimes it's not sexy. What if you want a quickie? Hey, you may not have time to go down and have a good time.
Good point.
So what I'm saying is lube is your friend.
Are there flavored lubes?
There are. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I don't know. You should send me some.
So what is your favorite brands of lubes? Tell us, because this is a great time to give people some advice on what
not to use.
Yes.
Okay. to me, KY is crap.
Is it?
I've always heard that.
I didn't know anything of that because I don't clue.
It is like the shittiest kind of lube that you could use to me. Crap. Get rid of it. Don't ever use it. If I was going to pick a number one, because there's different kinds of lubricants as well as far as makeup. There's a lubricant called Naked Silk. It's a hybrid. So it contains about 85 to 90% water-based lube, and the rest is silicone. And because it's a hybrid or a blend of, it is like perfect for everything. That means you can use it with toys. You can use it for vaginal sex. You can use it for anal sex. It's like the perfect lube. And it has a very silky feel to it. It lasts a little bit longer because of that silicone. So you don't have to reapply often like you do sometimes with KY and some of the other water-based lubricants. Now, number one, what I call silicone lubricant. And these are like if you plan on having sex for a very long period of time, or you're going to do a marathon session, or you're going to play in the shower, whatever, and you want to choose a silicone lubricant that is going to lay on the skin a little bit longer, or even if you want to have anal sex too, it's great for that. This is called Uber Lube.
Uber Lube.
Yes. It's called Uber Lube.
Funny.
And the greatest wonderful thing about this is it actually feels amazing on your skin. A lot of runners use it also on their nipples and their thighs to keep from rubbing.
No way.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a body
Lube
lube
is your
in a lot of
friend
ways.
in all kinds of situations.
I mean,
So no
do you guys
chafing
use
on the
lube?
legs.
Do y'all use lube?
Yeah.
You do use lube? Do you use
we used
lube?
to sell it all
But
the
do
time.
you use it as I'm asking you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes you?
I mean, I think for toys too, right?
Oh, most especially.
Well, I'm
for
definitely,
toys.
I know for toys for sure. For sure.
I mean,
I won't spin
oh
on
my
that.
God. No.
Just say.
On that note,
Not only
we are
that,
going to
but
the question of the day.
It's a just different makeup of. It's not a penis.
I want to make sure and
or even
say,
a finger. It's not flesh, so it's going to be. Yeah, definitely have to use lube for that. Sorry.
I just want to say I love you, Miss Polly.
Now, if you want a really great flavored lube, Wet Brands is from Trig Laboratories is a great. They have a lot of great flavored lubricants that just are delicious and are great for oral favors, as well as you can use them as lubricants, or some of them you have warming and you can just like rub on the skin and it heats up. And
Isn't it all sticky though? Like, isn't it like really sticky?
some of them can be a little sticky,
Yeah.
but I think that's just the nature of the fact that they've got glycerin and stuff like that in them, and because they're flavored. So yeah.
Fair enough.
On that note, lube is your friend.
Question
Courtney.
of the
right. Now let's go question of the day.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Do you prefer if your partner loves you more or you love them more?
They love me more.
Man. I just get that. I can't feel like they love me less than I love them. I don't know.
Not less.
I mean,
but I have grown up my whole life that the man should always love you a little bit more.
see, I don't know if I agree with that. But I
It's
hear
in
what
the
you're saying.
Bible.
It is not in the
It
Bible.
is in the Bible.
No, it's not.
Yes,
You
it
made that
is.
up. Which verse?
Nope. I'm not good at
Gabriella
it. But-
24:26.
No, I don't know that part,
I
but
don't
I
agree
know
with
that
that.
it says the man supposed to love the woman.
Like Christ loved the church.
Like Christ loved the church.
And the woman,
The woman
is supposed to
respect the man.
So fair enough. Let me tell you.
Just saying.
So let me say this. I disagree. Regardless,
Okay.
I
knew
think
you'd
that
disagree.
you know I have to. Right? I feel like for me, like what makes any of us want to do more is when we feel appreciated, right?
Mhm.
And so there's no difference. Like I need to know that my chick loves me, or just even
Of
if we're
course.
dating, like likes me as much as I like them, because it just it makes you. I don't know.
But I've always, like, if I'm with some, I love
them with
but
all
I
my
think
heart.
that because of how we're made, I think if the guy just loves the girl a little bit more, mean it, and not like by showing appreciation.
I was gonna say, what does that look like to you guys?
I just think that they'll want to be with them maybe forever, or they'll want to.
So wait, let me. With that being said, so what does it mean that? I mean, isn't it fair for the guy to want to feel like the girl wants to be with them forever too?
Yeah.
So then, how is it?
But we already do. I think that's the difference.
No,
Like girls are different.
No.
Yes.
Y'all can't speak on that. I can speak on that because I'm a guy. That's not true. Girls aren't all that way. Girls are as shitty as guys are. Believe me when I tell you this. But there are some girls.
I think girls love harder.
No, bullshit.
Yes, they do.
That's not true at all.
Yep.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong because I mean,
I think
I wish I could find a you and Patrick. That'd be great. Like you guys are just the unicorn to relationships, but women are not all that way because I'm telling you, there are some shitty.
I agree with you, and I wish that it were different, but I wonder if it's from there has to be so many backstories to that, like how they grew up. Because I honestly think that the makeup, like how you're made, like women are for sure more emotional,
more nurturing
than
and all that.
Men.
Yeah.
So I think it's how we're actually made, like the nurturing part, the emotional part, the guy, because guys aren't really. Most men are not that emotional. So I think when I say love the woman a little bit more is that little bit of emotion that like they don't normally have inside of them.
All right, I actually can. I think I grasp more what you're saying, and I could agree with that more.
Not like she's gonna run off and not respect or appreciate. It's the same. I guess it's the same love. It's just women have more emotions than men do. So if the man loves her so much, I think that's what makes for like a healthy relationship.
Are you guys saying then? I want to understand. Are you guys saying because men tend to be? I just want to repeat it. I may be re-saying exactly what you're saying, but so typically how men are, they're more masculine, they're more macho, so they tend to not show feelings, and women tend to wear their feelings on their sleeve in a sense. So you guys just essentially want to see a man be able to wear his feelings a little bit. You guys be able to know more of what they're thinking, as opposed to it be. Well, they're just cool and macho.
No, I think I want somebody who actually loves me more than me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it too.
That's reasonable. That's incredibly really reasonable. Good. I like that.
I love that. Miss Paula,
the reason being is because I'm on point today. I don't know why.
You were, except for the lube. But
no, you
whatever.
I was kidding. I love you. I love you.
Just wait when she comes here in person, Bernie.
Punches me in the face.
I'm going to punch you in the face now. I'm going to show people how to choke somebody out without hurting them.
Oh my Lord.
I'm going to put lube and bend you over.
Who doesn't know Miss Polly used to be a professional dominatrix? So we don't know what's going to happen to Bernie.
She does. Good Lord.
What I'm trying to say is, because I guess I haven't really had this, and that's why I'm not really willing to settle anymore, is I want somebody who loves me more than I love me and is so willing to take care of me instead of me always doing the caring.
Yeah.
Because I care too much and because that's what we do a lot of times as women. We will sacrifice everything, in a sense, to take care of somebody that we love.
Right.
Because we're caretakers, and that's what we do.
Right.
I want somebody to take care of me as much as I take care of them.
Oh, boy.
I'm just saying, with that being said, that's a very reasonable request, right? But here's the thing.
But still, Bernie, that was sweet.
No, that was super sweet. However, but here's the thing. That's sweet and all, but from the guy's side of it all, when there's a lot of women who've been hurt and damaged and all that stuff, then they start making the guys pay for stuff.
That should not happen.
It shouldn't, correct.
Right.
So
it's not that I'm making them pay for it.
No. I don't think I'm not saying
me. I demand to be loved the way I should be loved.
Correct.
And I'm not willing to settle for someone who is not going to take care of me or love me the way I deserve to be loved.
Correct. However, with that being said, along with that, and I agree with you. I think everybody should be loved to the way we all are meant to be loved, right? But I think some of the challenges is that there are men who have loved women that way that got bent over and screwed over, and right, it's hard for as men.
We all have, haven't we?
Right. Mm-hmm. Correct. Right. So I think at this age, it's one of those things where everyone has to. I feel like everyone has to give.
I think yes, but also when you see relationships, I like this just popped in my head where the girl loves the guy more. It is so bad. Like I cringe.
Yes.
Not only that, it's the girl's behavior. I'm like, oh my god, don't stop.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like what
they're
behavior?
begging.
The begging, and they'll like.
Guys do the same thing though. I'm telling you, guys do this.
Not the
yes,
same,
it
but
is. Y'all are wrong. I'm telling you.
I've never seen a guy beg like I've seen girls beg.
Y'all are.
Yes, I'm sure it
happens. That it happens. Not sure it happened. It happens factually, and it's usually me as a guy getting to see those guys, my buddies, who I'm like, oh fuck, they're getting bent over, but at the end of the day, no one wants to be hurt, and that's what that comes from.
And I'm sure it is both sides, and we're not saying it's just one or the other. I just think when. Also, this kind of stuff happens sometimes very early in a relationship, like where these lines get crossed, I believe. Like when a girl, like you're with someone for 3 months, 4 months, whatever, and then the guy actually does something wrong, like totally disrespected. Like just pretend with me for a second, goes out on guys' night, doesn't call, doesn't text, doesn't do anything. The girls that are so in love now, they usually do the wrong thing. They usually start texting. They usually start calling. They're like, oh my God, why are you not calling me? Why are you not doing this? And it makes the line completely blurred because now the guy goes, oh, I got her. I'm sorry. But guys do that a lot.
You don't
then
apologize.
they are just like looking at her completely different. And when a girl really would respect herself enough. And
what do you call it? It's like when a lion smells blood. Like
yes,
they get that weakness.
They go into a feeding frenzy.
Haven't you had guys, Marcella, who've been like, who did that exact thing where they're texting and calling now because they're feeling insecure and you're kind of like, oh God, stop. No. We've had conversations for a fact. I know you've had guys
from the past, like a long time ago.
I mean, even in the recent, you've had guys who want to date you. I mean, the point, look, here's what, in this particular topic, I can't be convinced. I could be usually talking about stuff, but I won't be convinced that it's any better for a girl than guy or different, no matter what anyone says, because it's not.
Yeah, like some guys maybe will do that, but I think it's still the makeup of a man and woman. Like, I think it's still like, I think a guy, like when they, and I'm not saying all men do this, but when they see that weakness from the female, I feel like they're just not going to treat her the same. Like they're going to know that they can kind of walk all over. They're going to know.
Get away with
girls
whatever.
do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They do.
But I think that men, that I guess it's not in the norm for a man to like be a pussy like that. And I'm going to say that outright because it's like pussy behavior. Like
it depends. It's all situational. I'm telling you what I know as a guy. I have seen guys who I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're like a badass. Why in the world are you? And if there's something resonated and some wound got opened up where they're not thinking straight. They're not acting normal. And then the girl is just kind of like, whatever. And it's one of those frustrating things for me or just experience. But I mean, it's one of those it's a very hard situation. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to when we can set boundaries to avoid having those situations. 'Cause I think if like we've had 5 shows on the pre-marriage checklist. And I think if we can be honest enough to have those conversations, those hard conversations, not with that person, but with ourselves, because we tend to say what we like. Yes, we put our best version of ourselves up forward.
Yes,
but
that is true.
Yeah, right. So, but if we can get to the point where we are able to recognize that pink flag really being a red flag instead of a pink flag.
I still love. We had Bernie's best friend on as a guest, Miss Polly, and his name is Omar. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Omar.
And he said something that was actually, it kind of blew my mind because, you always say when you see red flags, like the red flags, if you wear rose-colored glasses, then they are pink. But
so good.
He said,
not a lie.
And then you kind of go, okay, well, if that red flag is not that bad, you can work with it. And he interrupted and he said, if there is any red flag, you can't work with it at all. Yeah. Like you just don't even try.
It's true.
That was
why
so
bother?
Interesting. Yeah, why bother?
Yeah,
but a lot of us don't do that. Like you see the red flags and you think, I can
It'll
work
be
with
okay.
that. That will be fine.
Oh,
We all have issues.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
My last couple girlfriends that way. I mean, the rose. I looked at it through rose-colored glasses for sure. Because there's stuff that I look at now. I'm like, the fuck? There's no way in the world I'd put up with that. But in the moment situation,
do.
you excuse
You
it
do.
because it feels good.
Well, you're a human being. We're not
Correct.
robots. So
yeah, exactly.
everybody
Well, we put up
has
with
looked
so
over
much
red
stuff.
flags.
yeah,
We put up
Period.
with so much stuff.
yeah.
I mean, we did it. I mean,
True.
I don't know. Okay, so several of us have been married more than once, or and how many times did we put up with shit for a long period of time before we finally said, okay, enough's enough,
Right.
because we
true.
made excuses.
Yeah. Well,
On that note, we are gonna end the show, and Miss Polly, we're gonna call you again in
miss you, Miss
probably
Polly.
40 minutes or so, or a little longer. But we'll call you again, and thank you, and we love you so much, and thank you. You're
Love
awesome.
you guys.
I love you. I
you.
miss you. Send me some lube.
Thank you, everyone, for listening,
you.
and we appreciate you.
Bye.
Subscribe to our channels, please. Subscribe to our Instagram, our YouTube channels. Hit that button. Send us messages. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.